What's up, guys? Today, me and my partner Sierra will be talking about how video games should or should not be protected under the First Amendment. More specifically, I'm talking about violent video games. Um, and I will be arguing the affirmative that violent video games should be protected under the First Amendment, and she will be arguing the negative that violent video games should not be protected under the First Amendment. My argument for the affirmative is that one, video games are positive. Regardless of the game, video games can improve mood and promote relaxation and decrease anxiety. Violent video games specifically can actually promote cooperative behavior and improve three-dimensional thinking. This improvement in three-dimensional thinking can help people who want to pursue a career in the STEM field. So, not only is violent video games positive, but it's also can help prepare kids and youth for the career that they may want to go into if they were had a passion in STEM. Um, Now I wanted to talk about our youth, um, children who play video games, because they are the main target of video games. Children who play video games, if they are to play with their friends, then they are more likely to be engaged in civic activity and social groups. Um, Also, those kids can become better at problem solving, and there's really just a lot of positive social benefits if the group that they are playing with are positive influences. Um, my next point was going to be that video games aren't necessarily negative, because although video games may have violent actions in them, they can still they cannot cause somebody to have negative actions in the real world. Yes, you may play as a hero or you may play as a villain doing violent things. Just because you see something violent or negative in a video game does not mean that you will go into the real world and recreate those actions.
On the other hand, violent games shouldn't be protected under the First Amendment because they can lead to increased aggression, which can be noticed in younger age groups because as they're playing games, they often will pick up on different triggers and things that are going on during the game that can cause them to then go out into the real world and do things that could be considered out of character or aggressive. In on this On the other hand, it also encourages the use of weapons, guns, and explosives with the intention to encourage you to harm or kill someone during the game. This can lead to eventual harm of an actual real life person, which would then go against the First Amendment because you are then at that point not exercising your right of freedom of speech. For example, the infamous violent video game Grand Theft Auto 5 follows a main character who is a criminal and is a participant in organized crime. This can be a very bad influence not only to the youth, but also to adults who play the video game because they live out their dark, twisted fantasies that are not considered acceptable in society today. In fact, this game even includes a strip club with naked women who the user can interact with. Although the action is legal, it has a negative connotation in society. Games like this can lead to eventual harm, which would go against the First Amendment. My rebuttal to the point that video games are positive does not matter if video games can be used in a positive light because they ultimately can cause users to become not social and can also cause users to become addicted to the game.
Although you made some good points, I disagree with your argument as a whole. Correlations don't mean anything. Just because a video game is violent and has violent nature and has aggressive acts, that does not mean that that person will in turn become more aggressive. In order for you to prove that, You have to have a psychological study on yourself as a person. You cannot base these correlations on the general society. For example, when I say correlations don't mean anything, people who report that video games make them better problem solvers, although they may feel like they are better problem solvers, there is no way that we can scientifically prove that a video game has made them a better problem solver unless we were to actually study them and make that a fact and test it out. And so my point with your saying that video games are negative because they can cause people to become harmful is that we have not seen in mass numbers people become harmful or any type of factual evidence, only that people are more inclined to become more aggressive, and that is not enough to take the First Amendment right away from violent video games being allowed to be played and created.